Billionaire Enemy, an enemies to lovers romance, by Paige Harlow. Narrated by Jelena Landman. Billionaire Enemy, an enemies to lovers romance, by Paige Harlow. Chapter 1. Willow, the wedding that wasn't. I was fidgeting again. I couldn't help it. It was to have been the best day of my life. On that day, I would have wed the man I completely adored, Gale. Even the ring of his name sounded majestic and perfect, perhaps a trifle too perfect. Well, if I had the luxury of choosing my name, I doubt if it would have been Willow. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Not that Willow is a bad name to have, considering the willow tree symbolizes freedom. The weeks leading up to this day had flashed by in a daze. There were endless preparations to be made. The ceremony, the food, the hall, the cake, the wine, the guest list, and the gown. Let me dwell on the gown a bit, for that is what I remember most from that day. It was perhaps the only perfect thing from that blasted day. It was a satin and lace affair that cinched at my chest and waist. Not so tight that I would look like a tawdry barmaid, but subtly perfect for me. I knew I looked ethereal, and it did not require Gale's glance for me to know this. As it would happen, Gale would never see me that day, or ever after. You see, this story is not about that rogue. It's about me. When I arrived at the church, one of the oldest and finest in Oakland, heads turned to stare at me. Though I do like to flatter myself that it was my beauty, I confess the real reason was something I learned a little later. The guests were seated exactly as per the seating schema my mother and I had prepared and gone over. My mother stood by, looking handsome and as able as ever. My bridesmaids, Lucy and Tara, were ready to receive me in their pretty lilac gowns and holding white oleander bouquets.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?